How's it going, everybody? This is your friendly neighborhood David the Wolf Boy, and today we're taking a look at the live-action remake of Disney's Pinocchio, which released September 8th on Disney Plus as a Disney Plus Day release. This was originally going to be a theatrically released movie, but due to the poor box office performance of Tim Burton's Dumbo, which we're not going to talk about here, they decided to release Pinocchio on Disney Plus, kind of like what they did with the live-action remake of Lady and the Tramp the day Disney Plus launched. Don't get me wrong, the sets for the live-action remake of Dumbo looked impressive. That didn't save the film from being a snooze fest involving a bunch of human characters who nobody gives a shit about. Pinocchio is directed by famed director Robert Zemeckis, who's well known for directing Forrest Gump, The Polar Express, Back to the Future, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which also featured Pinocchio. So Robert Zemeckis knew exactly what he was working with when it came to production on Pinocchio. Now let's talk about the design of Pinocchio himself. He looks identical to his 1940 animated counterpart. The attention to detail on designing a wooden puppet made from CGI was on point. Jiminy Cricket also looks faithful to how he appeared in not only the 1940 Pinocchio, but also Kingdom Hearts. This movie stars Tom Hanks as Geppetto, Cynthia Erivo as the Blue Fairy, Benjamin Evan Ainsworth as Pinocchio, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who previously worked with Disney when he played Jim Hawkins in Turn the Planet, as Jiminy Cricket, Keegan-Michael Key as Honest John, and Luke Evans as the Coachman. Yes! This Coachman, who makes the creepiest face in the history of Disney animation. I mean, come on! Doesn't he look like a Cuphead boss? Pinocchio is one of the movies I grew up with, along with Toy Story, The Little Mermaid, Mulan, Mary Poppins, and an entire library of Disney VHS tapes that I still own to this day. As you can tell, I am a 90s kid who's 27 now. The original Pinocchio came out in 1940, 3 years after the release of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 1937. So right around the time World War II was brewing. And then we have Fantasia, Dumbo, Bambi, Saludos Amigos, and The Three Caballeros, which were all released in World War II. So World War II had a negative impact on Pinocchio's original release, but it was re-released in 1945, and it instantly became one of the greatest animated films ever made. Plus, When You Wish Upon a Star has become Disney's official anthem. You hear it at the beginning of every Disney movie, hear it everywhere at Disneyland and Walt Disney World in Orlando, and on the Disney Cruise Line. If it wasn't for Pinocchio, the world of Disney would not be what it is today. After watching the second trailer for this movie, I can happily say that I was sold on the cast, particularly Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Jiminy Cricket, and Benjamin Evan Ainsworth as Pinocchio. Joseph Gordon-Levitt sounds like he's trying to do his best impression of Cliff Edwards, and I gotta say, it sounds very faithful to how he originally sounded in the 1940 film and Kingdom Hearts. Of course, Cliff Edwards died in 1971, years before Kingdom Hearts came out, and the voice of Pinocchio at the time, Dickie Jones, died in 2014. However, what really astounds me is that Catherine Beaumont, who voiced Alice in 1951's Alice in Wonderland and Wendy in 1953's Peter Pan, returned to voice Alice and Wendy respectively in Kingdom Hearts. And she also voiced Kyrie's grandmother. But we're not here to talk about Kingdom Hearts, as much as I want to. But alas, we're here because I want to give my thoughts on this movie. Now, I'm somewhat skeptical when it comes to live-action Disney remakes, because most of the time, I'm afraid it's going to be nothing like the original source material. Well, unfortunately, that happens to be the case with the majority of the remakes. For example, 2019's Dumbo features no talking animals or musical numbers, and the big elephants on parade scene could have been a lot trippier. But did Tim Burton deliver that? No. However, it did feature Baby Mine, a song that still makes me cry to this day, seeing that I'm a 27-year-old male. 2016's The Jungle Book only featured 2 songs, and that's it. 2019's The Lion King completely butchered Be Prepared that it made me want to fucking scream. In fact, 2019's The Lion King looks so bland and lifeless compared to its 1994 animated counterpart. Maleficent and Maleficent Mistress of Evil completely altered the story of Sleeping Beauty and Maleficent's character as a whole, and no musical numbers. 2020's Mulan is not a musical, even though the actress who played Mulan in that movie sang Reflection in Mandarin Chinese in the end credits. Cruella, while having insane costumes, just altered the story of Cruella de Vil, and the final product just didn't do it for me. Plus, it was overly reliant on using existing songs to carry the story, just like 2016's Suicide Squad. However, Roger's Cruella de Vil song appeared at the very end of the movie, and 2019's Lady and the Tramp completely butchered the Siamese cats, and instead of singing, "We are Siamese, if you please," they sing a completely forgettable snooze fest of a song that could have easily passed for a song in an episode of Sonic Underground. Now, I don't mind new original songs, but don't replace classic songs with new songs that come off as forgettable and bland. I can think of two original songs in recent remakes that I actually liked. Speechless from 2019's Aladdin, and Evermore from 2017's Beauty and the Beast. This is one of many reasons why I'm worried about 2023's The Little Mermaid. And if there's one movie that I want to see a live-action remake of, it's Pocahontas. Please make that happen, Disney. And I don't give two fucks if it goes to theaters or Disney+. Just please make a live-action Pocahontas, and probably give it a PG-13 rating like Mulan and Cruella before it. Now I've finished rambling about live-action remakes. Let's dive right into what I thought of the live-action remake of Pinocchio. I went into this movie with not a whole lot of expectations. I mean, this movie deviated far from the original source material. So I'm gonna spoil a few details about the live-action Pinocchio. One thing I didn't very much care for was the addition of new characters, like the seagull who was trying too hard to be a female version of Scuttle from The Little Mermaid. When in 2023's The Little Mermaid, Scuttle will be a female diving bird voiced by none other than Awkwafina. And Pinocchio actually befriends a female puppet who got a very nice original song. And let's talk about the songs. A lot of the original songs come back, like When You Wish Upon a Star, Hi Diddly Dee, An Actor's Life for Me, and I've Got No Strings. But they cut out the little wooden head and give a little whistle. I can understand why they cut Little Wooden Head, because just the fact that Tom Hanks played Geppetto, and Woody from Toy Story, someone could easily change the lyrics and have it be Little Woody Head instead. But Little Woody Head just sounds like one of Sid's mutant toys. And Give a Little Whistle is one of my personal favorites, even though Jiminy whistled a few times in this movie. In the original songs, I didn't find to be as memorable as the original songs featured in 2017's Beauty and the Beast and 2019's Aladdin. At the end of the day, 2022's live-action Pinocchio is just another live-action remake that couldn't live up to the original 1940 classic. I mean, there was one sequence that showed off a bunch of Disney Easter eggs in the form of Geppetto's clocks. Like, you see references to Sleeping Beauty, Dumbo, Toy Story, Donald Duck, Snow White, Lion King, and surprisingly enough, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I mean, it does feature the creepy donkey transformation scene with Lampwick, and at least we don't get to see Luke Evans make this creepy-ass face. I'm giving the live-action Pinocchio a 6 out of 10. Not a must-watch, but it is something you can enjoy with your family on Disney Plus when you're tired of playing Splatoon 3. I do have to give props to the cast, especially Benjamin Evan Ainsworth, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Tom Hanks. I also have to give props to the emotional depth, which was more fleshed out here than the original. I'm not gonna lie, I shed a tear or two during the end. And they made Pleasure Island more of a nightmare than in the original 1940 film. Is this one of Robert Zemeckis' best films in recent history? No. The best ones, in my book, will always be Back to the Future and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and The Polar Express, can't forget that one. Like with all live-action remakes, you just can't beat the original animated classics, and Pinocchio is no exception. Stay tuned for my next film review, which will be Black Adam, coming next month. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more exciting content. And be sure to follow me on TikTok and Instagram. The links to those are on my channel. And that's all for me now, and remember, always let your conscience be your guide.